Clint Boyer, runner-up in 2010. Jeff Gordon, three-time winner on this speedway.
Settings back there, and he said we absolutely came up with the air pressure.
Well, that was the recommended fix. I mean, most everybody said that low air was just ripping the sidewalls as they hit those bumps. You see them going down the.
They have 7/10 on Jeff Gordon, who has cut the deficit in half. Then it's a second and a half back to Kevin Harvick and Jimmy Johnson.
When you see Jeff Gordon lurking right there like he is, he just seems to me like he's sizing these two guys up. That tells you he's got a great race car under him today.
A.J. Allmendinger had a few slice and dice moves in practice yesterday, and a little bumping shoving with Eric Almirola when it was over.
Hey, Larry, no more lurking.
No,
he's there.
Talking about Jeff Gordon, that 24 car. He's been quiet, but he's been fast all weekend long in there. He takes a second spot away from Boyer in the 15.
Yeah, that car is looking really racy today.
He's been fast in every practice, qualified in the top 10.
I think you're going to see a lot of that 24 today.
Both getting a backup car out, you know, it may have had a little different geometry, a little different rear end housing with camber. Might have worked out just right for him.
Jeff Gordon hunting the lead. Steve Burns.
And Mike, he says he needs just to be a little tighter in, getting in and loose off. Clint Boyer's spotter just told him that the 24 is really good down in turns 1 and 2.
Thanks, Steve. If Jeff Gordon gets that adjustment, that could be bad news for the field.
And I'm sure Alan Gustafson, his crew chief, is thinking, I'm not sure how much I really want to get aggressive with adjustments on this 24
I bet
car.
you're right. But, Larry, you know where there's no seams?
On the apron.
Check now shows the very first pit stall for his driver, Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy saying he needs the reins loosened a little bit. His horse is too tight in the center and too loose off. Steve Burns.
Well, Krista, Jeff Gordon saying his car is tight getting into 3 and a little loose getting off of turn 4. 4 tires for Jeff Gordon. Matt.
Leader Brad Keselowski has a great pit stall. He has an opening on exit, so no issue there. His car's on the free side. They've already made a chassis adjustment, trying to tighten him up early on. Lugs are on, he's away.
Two of the favorites have had trouble early on. Kevin Harvick cut down a tire, and that is what brought out this caution flag. Jeff Gordon was busted for speeding as he came down pit road toward his pit box. So, since all cars are still on the lead lap, he'll be restarting back at 43rd. 5 drivers who did not pit the first time around led by Jeff Gordon's already passed 7 cars from the back. This track is so wide. Remember Kevin Harvick and Jeff Gordon, who restarted out back. Harvick up to 29th. Gordon to 31st as they march their way through heavy traffic. Early as long as the one at Daytona. Let's go back further where Kevin Harvick is now 25th and Jeff Gordon has passed him and is in 24th on his march back to the front after a speeding penalty.
Yeah. Gordon's got a good car, guys. He's been down on the apron. He's been up next to the wall, 3 wide, making some great moves, driving very aggressively today. And you're over there just doing what you always did, watching the game, and all of a sudden somebody says, hey, you got to go in.
I know we talked about Paul Menard earlier in this 27 car. He did get here after the birth of his first child later in the week. He did get here for practice yesterday, but he saw that he was.
They have both moved up well.
It only took Jeff Gordon 29 laps to go from 39th to inside the top 10 after that pit road speeding penalty back on lap 20.
Now the other car that has had
problem pushing him back. Jeff Gordon, who was running second, caught speeding on pit road, knocked him back. He's now worked himself back up in the top 10.
He stayed on the racetrack along with Clint Boyer and Jeff Gordon. Steve Burns, then Boyer and Gordon came to pit road. What's going on?
Well, there's confusion down here, Michael. Clint Boyer in the 15 car is absolutely livid. He is saying that the lights were red, the entry lights to pit road, which is why he did not come down pit road. His crew chief, Brian Patty, lobbying with the NASCAR official. In fact, Alan Gustafson on the 2014, the crew chief for Jeff Gordon, said the same thing. But I do know for a fact that Clint's saying the light was red. I did not enter pit road. This isn't right.
So Boyer felt pit road was not open, had to come in the next time around. Brad Keselowski had.
I mean, you'd think they were racing for the win. Look at one will shoot down in the corner, and then somebody will pull up in front of him. And what a race these folks are having. And guess who that is right there, just going by the, I think that's a 7 car. That's Keselowski. He's fallen all the way back to 26th.
Only in 4 laps, but a couple of drivers I'm watching there. I'm watching Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88, Jeff Gordon in the 24. Remember, they had the issues back in the field, fighting their way back up. Jeff Gordon's already come from the back to the front one time. Here he's having to do it again.
Well, we bragged on him when the race started what a great car he had and how he was car to beat. Now he's beating himself.
Well, he's just having to prove how great a car that is time after time.
Been telling us some drivers a little bit tight, not turning. Some drivers a little bit loose, just the back end not gripping.
79 laps this time by on a beautiful Southern Cal. 40 cars on the lead lap were 40% of the distance. Here at Auto Club Speedway, Jeff Gordon has climbed back from 35th at lap 61. And he's now to 6th place. And Greg Biffle closing. Krista.
Yeah, Greg Biffle talking about needing to turn better in the center. He also needs more grip off of the corners. Steve?
Krista, Jeff Gordon says his car is good. He asked crew chief Alan Gustafson, do you have enough tires for me? He said, I hope so. They're getting 4, Matt.
And Kenseth comes to a stop, and his boss, concerned for Matt Kenseth. He might have had a tire issue taking place. The car was good, and then he said it like flipped the light switch, and then the balance went completely away. So he went into tire conservation mode, waiting until the next stop. The guys are going to look over the tires.
And Kenseth beats Jimmy Johnson off the end of pit road with Jeff Gordon.
A great week last week at Bristol, but here today at California, not so good. What happened?
That's the first chance I got to see the replay. It's pretty obvious what happened.
Johnson and Kenseth side by side up front. Kyle Busch and Jeff Gordon. Good chance your winners among those 4 today as we cross 90 laps. 10 to halfway.
I think the most impressive run to me has been Jeff Gordon. You know, with the trouble he had speeding on pit road, he fell to the back, and now here he is. Well, he was. He's losing a lot of ground off turn 2 over there just now, getting passed by a couple of cars, Kyle Busch and the 22 car, Joey Logano. Nice run by Logano from the back to the top 5.
Here comes Gordon back after Kyle Busch. 4th place.
Yeah, Kyle Busch at 18, he can go for a little bit after a restart, but then he starts losing ground.
Before the restart, you listened in on Jeff Gordon and his team.
Can you tell me about those tires? Because each run, you know, is a little bit different in my pace. They progressively look better and better. The thing I'm concerned about is being up front, you'll be able to go faster. Now we have 5 6-sticker tires left, so we'll be good if these guys can keep them on the fence. Yeah, good point.
Well, to his point, it's getting cloudy, and this track is gaining some speed because Jimmy Johnson and Joey Logano both.
Yeah, I know Junior hit the wall there a little bit, but it didn't look like it really did that much suspension damage. Yesterday, his driver, Chase Elliott, hit the wall same way, and he was able to come back and recover and make a nice run. I believe Junior.
Man, before this race started, Jeff Gordon was my man. He's got a fast car. He's won here 3 times before. Darrell, he's fallen to the back twice, and he's fought his way all the way back to 2nd spot. He's got a whole half of a race to go to get to the lead. I like Jeff Gordon.
108 laps completed Auto Club Speedway. Remember, as he gave the command, Gonzo said, remember the speed limit. Jeff Gordon got busted for speeding on pit road and has just taken the lead from Jimmy Johnson, overcoming that speeding penalty. So at 108 laps complete, Gordon to the lead. 2006, it was Casey Kane, and he's gone to the garage. Jeff Hammond.
Well, Mikey will not win today because they have a problem on the right rear. One of the right rear hubs is giving them a problem. They're having to take one off the spare rear end housing right now on this 5 car and effect changes. They were also inspecting the one on the left rear to make sure they didn't have a problem there, but it was clearly in the rear end housing. The engine came in running. He was able to drive it in here, but they're still in the process of changing this over. Matt?
And here in the 88, Dale Earnhardt Jr. reported he thought he had a tire going down. They will look over the tires when they come over the wall. He didn't want to take a chance. Hit pit road.
But just remember, earlier in the race, about 19 or 20 laps, that's when he had the problem. That was 19 laps since that last restart.
Hey, Mike, I've never seen these teams push the limits so hard on everything they're doing.
And Mike, Jeff Gordon saying his car is just a little bit tight, but he has said several times today that his race car loves being out front. He loves clean air.
Thanks, Steve. No surprise there. People getting a little gun shy on top here. 200 mile per hour plus speeds into the corners at Auto Club Speedway. We're in the longest green flag run of the day right now at 112 laps and 88 to go. As Jeff Gordon cuts inside of Ryan Truex and laps Travis Kvapil.
Mike, if you lock the front end of these cars down, they're riding solid. What gives? The only one thing that can give on the race car is the tires. It becomes your spring, it becomes your shock. It takes all the load and all the pressure.
Biffle had 25 laps on his tires under green.
You know, just looking at Jeff Gordon in that 24 car.
Well, Biffle definitely, that to be what he needs to do, no question.
Maintain. Steve?
Kristen leader Jeff Gordon telling Alan Gustafson, I really like the drive off on this race car. He said 10-4, we're going to leave it alone. Just 4 tires, Matt, for the 24.
Harvick and Kenda swapped spots, 3rd and 4th, right before this caution. Kenda said his car loses the nose, crossing the center of the corner, and it really ended tight that run. He needs an adjustment. You see he gets it. Meanwhile, Harvick said his car is both loose and tight at the beginning of the run. He needs help later in the run, and they were going to make an air pressure change to help him.
Back under green with Kenseth and Kyle Busch, teammates out front. The Joe Gibbs Toyota teammates in front of the Rick Hendrick Chevy teammates.
Jeff Gordon in that 24 car, he was up there all by himself, all the way against the wall. And look at the run he gets down the backstretch on Kyle Busch in that 18.
Paid the price getting into 3, went in there a little hard, slid up the hill, but you heard him say, Larry, his car is so good on corner exit, and it's showing. It's good off 4, it's good off at 2. Gordon's still got a really stellar race car.
And that helps the speed down those straightaways.
The top 6 drivers between them, 15 wins here at Auto Club Speedway, every one of them.
I found out this morning from Roger Penske, Brad Keselowski, his teammate, tore a gear up yesterday in practice.
Larry, the way those cars are hopping up and down going into the 3rd turn over there, we saw it all day yesterday.
What, 11 sets of tires?
11 sets of tires. Almost everyone has made 6 pit stops, plus what they start have 4 sets of stickers in the pits right now.
And you cannot go borrow a set of tires from one of your teammates. Those are your tires, and you can't get in.
You know, speaking of making up ground, though, I want to go back to Jeff Gordon in that 24 car running 3rd. We made note how strong he's been all weekend. But since that pit road speeding penalty on the first caution, and remember the miscue on the 3rd caution where he didn't come to pit road and then pitted, I mean, just look at the graph. He has passed over 70 drivers to get back here to top 5s since that pit road speeding penalty.
Would you say that's a W? Is that in the W column?
It could be the win column.
That could be the win column.
Right now, Jeff Gordon and Kevin Harvick are the 2 fastest cars on the racetrack as Jimmy Johnson leads by 1.6 seconds. Jeff Gordon has moved up to 2nd. And since we went to break, Kevin Harvick has climbed from 5th to 3rd. So there's the gap. Johnson to Gordon, 1.3 seconds. Harvick in 3rd, 2.2 off the lead. Jimmy Johnson's lead, 0.7 of a second over Jeff Gordon. There you see it from the Goodyear blimp.
It's her teammate, Kevin Harvick, that's had the 2 tire issues.
Krista?
Danica Patrick's big issue this whole race has been tight, but then the crew just jumping on the wall, coming over, switching over to her radio. She hasn't said anything yet. I will confirm what the issue is, but she's been running really tight up to this point.
But Krista, Darrell and I had looked at the scoring monitor, and she had worked herself into the top 20 in that 10 car.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that was probably a left side tire, left front on her car, they said. And here we got another battle for the lead. And that, I tell you, the one thing I like about that 24 car, if this thing goes green, he's got a great long run car. He really just maintains speed better than the 48 does.
For the lead.
Uh-oh.
2 Californians, Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson. Car in the middle is Travis Kvapil. Gets down and out of harm's way. And we're under caution for debris in turn 3 at lap 142, 7th caution of the day. So Johnson retains the lead.
At Phoenix for Kevin Harvick, it has been one.
Busch said he's loose on throttle, late on exit. He feels like he's driving the right front tire down into the center of the turn, Steve.
Krista, Jeff Gordon said his car didn't take off very well on that run. He said his car got just a little bit tired. 4 tires and fuel. Matt.
Matt Kenseth documented that his car was not only loose on entry, but he was giving up so much grip on exit. So Jason Ratcliffe's going to try to fix it this stop by going back on the adjustments they made the previous stop to get it back to a good baseline. Close battle off pit road. Who's going to win it, Mike?
That'll be Jimmy Johnson. 33 cars on the lead lap, 57.
Now, Jeff Gordon, who has had the most consistent start to his career with 4 straight top 10s, no win yet this year, was running second but was caught speeding and dropped all the way back to 39th. But as you know, he's worked his way back up to the front, having a problem with that left tire. Jeff Gordon working his way back to take the lead from Jimmy Johnson, part of the record number.
Next week, it's going to get dangerous. Why? Because it's back to short track racing at Martinsville. It takes a legend to win there multiple times.
Jeff Gordon is going to win the Virginia 500. Look who's learned to do burnouts.
Well, I've won there 8 times, and next week, I'm going for number 9, right here, only on Fox.
Turn your grandfather clocks ahead. That's the trophy at Martinsville Speedway.
And that would include the last time we were there in the fall. Jeff Gordon went to victory lane.
Larry, one more pit stop on fuel, maybe more than that due to tire. Jeff Gordon also on the all-time win list here.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon at 24 and Brian Vickers in the 55. They keep going side by side through the corners, and then they come back together on the straightaways like we've seen with a lot of drivers all day long.
Yeah, I just don't think this race is going to fall into Jeff Gordon's situation here. He's got a good long-run car, but it's not real good on the short run, and that could end up hurting him. He falls back, then here comes the 24. He's good on the long run.
Guys, Jeff Gordon is a-coming. I'm telling you, that car is running so fast right now. He's a half-second faster than Jimmy Johnson last time by, and I believe in 2 or 3 laps, he's going to have the lead. In the long run, they're not going to outrun Jeff Gordon, but with the tire issues today, will there be a long run at the end?
Yeah, that's the question, Michael. Horses for courses. And that's a long run car he's got right there. In 1 lap, he cut the gap to Jimmy Johnson by a third, 2 or 3/10 of a second.
Down on that 16 car.
And Jeff Gordon is there for the lead with teammate Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, there's no question that 24 on a long run can chase the 48 down just like he's doing here. If this thing should stay green, that would work into Jeff Gordon's favor. If we get a caution, not so much.
"35 laps, including at least 1 more pit stop before we reach the checkered flag in Fontana."
You may remember a little video that I did with Pepsi Max called Test Drive.
Oh, you're an idiot.
Some folks on the internet question whether I really pulled that off. One of those people was Travis. So I decided to bring him down here and have some fun.
He's waiting over at the hotel right now. We're going to send a taxi over to pick him up. He's not going to know it's coming.
This is Test Drive 2.
Oh, man. What is that cop running all over mine? You know, I went away for 10 years, so you can imagine the fear I get. Oh, what?
Teammate Jeff Gordon. Steve?
Krista, Jeff Gordon said, my car's pretty good. Just free me up a little bit. Meanwhile, Clint Boyer in the 15, lower left of your screen, said the right rear is money right now. Leave it alone. We aren't bad. Matt.
Pole sitter Matt Kenseth said, I need help in all 3 segments of the corner, the entry, the center, and then the exit. The car just too free. I don't know if we can make enough adjustments to have a car capable of beating the 24 and 48, but Jason Ratcliffe says if we get a short run near the end, we'll have something for him.
His mentor, Jeff Gordon, who suggested Rick Hendrick sign Jimmy Johnson. Some interesting stats there, but first, we listened in on Jeff Gordon's team.
It's a really good stop for me sliding in there like that. Stop, bud. All right, man, let's focus in and close this thing out. Time to close this thing out.
That's what I saw on his stop. He came in a little hot. He gave it a little gas coming to his pit box, and he slid way past the crew, and they had to catch up with the car. That's what he's talking about.
Daryl, you and I were talking at commercial break, and Jeff Gordon will tell you, he'll be honest with you, the one thing he has been weak on the last 2 or 3 years is restarts, and that's what gets him behind at the beginning of a run.
We've already seen it today, Larry. It takes a couple of laps for him to get going, and a lot of that's because he loses time on the restart. but I think he's going to be up on the wheel for this one. If this thing should go green to the end, that's just inside Jeff Gordon's window.
The Hendrick drivers, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, 11 times they have finished 1-2 in races. Twice it's happened here at the California Auto Club. The edge has gone to Jeff Gordon 7 of those 11 times. Are we looking at another Jimmy-Jeff finish?
Well, this will be really interesting if these guys can get all the way to the checker without having another tire problem. About the way the tires have been failing is around 25 laps or so, so that could mean a late restart. The boys upstairs talked about Jeff struggling on those, but man, his car's lightning fast on the long run.
Watching the battle between these two California boys, Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon. And the thing is, from up here, it looks like Jimmy's car's rolling the top a little bit better, but I believe Gordon can get by him, even running that low line right there, guys. I think it's going to be a great battle all the way to the end, Mike.
One of the things I think might happen, though, with Jeff Gordon starting on the inside right there, Matt Kenseth's right behind him. If Kenseth gets ahead of Jeff, Kenseth has got a good short-run car. He could hold Jeff up just long enough for Jimmy to get gone, and then it's race on from there.
Don't count out Kurt Busch right there. He's been really fast and threading the needle on restarts.
Great on restarts.
And we're getting ready for one right now. It'll come with, see it there, when it's moored, when it's in town. All right, 29 to go. We've only gone 29 laps without a caution once today. Can we do it again to the checkered flag?
We can do it on fuel. Just not sure we're going to make it there, though, without a caution on a tire situation.
You heard Alan Gusson tell Jeff Gordon, okay, let's close this thing out. And that's what every driver's saying right now. Now's the time.
Waved it off, not going, waved it off.
One more lap. Alan Gustafson got his first career Sprint Cup win here with driver Kyle Busch. There's Alan, Daytona Beach native, who grew up as a Jeff Gordon fan.
So you got Jeff wanting to beat Jimmy. Then you got the Toyotas that want to win a race here for the Toyota folks that are all here today. You've got some guys with some real strong agendas at the front of the field right now.
Well, now consider Jeff Gordon. He won 58 races in 9 years before Jimmy Johnson got his first win. But since Johnson has started winning races and championships, Jeff Gordon in the 13 years since has only gone to victory lane 30 times.
What I see with 9 of our top 10, all of them are looking at the fact they can become our 5th different winner in 5 races in 2014.
Well, and Jeff Gordon is the 3rd winningest driver in the sport. And that's he's the winningest driver in the modern era. And he could, I could see this cat winning 100 races if he stuck with it long enough.
Well, now Clint Boyer is laps way earlier in the race.
I just think right now the deck is stacked against Jeff Gordon. He's got a great car. On the long run, he's got the car to beat. But, man, there's some guys back here that are great on restarts, and there's a bunch of guys back here that want to win this race. So it's the guy that wants it the most is going to have to go up there and get it.
And right now, we're about to have the easiest chance to pass.
Oh, yeah.
Between now and the checkered flag coming up right here. These next 2 laps, 4 miles. 4 wide, 5 wide, anything goes. Green flag.
Pretty good restart by Jeff Gordon. He didn't lose a bit on that one. But here comes that Matt Kenseth car. He's blocking, heading off into turn 1.
And Kurt Busch threads the needle right up the middle. Wow.
Here comes Boyer looking at the outside.
Jeff Gordon wiggled bad there, just in the middle of turn 2 that time.
But still, that's a really nice restart for Gordon. But his car, he's just got to get going. He cannot hesitate. He's got to get going.
I tell you who's not hesitating is Sam Hornish Jr. in that 11 car. He went from the top of the race.
29 cars on the lead lap. When they come around, 23 laps to go. And the big question, we can make it on fuel. Can everybody make it on rubber?
Yeah, if there are no more cautions, Jeff Gordon will win this race.
And Jimmy Johnson, as well as Kurt Busch and A.J. Allmendinger, who just cracked the top 10, the fastest lap they've run so far in this race.
But Jimmy Johnson knows how good Jeff Gordon is. So Jimmy Johnson right now is trying to formulate something in his mind, run a different line. What can I do to hold that 24 up? And I'm not sure he can. And Larry, that was, of all the restarts I've seen Jeff Gordon do, that was one of his best. He was right even with the 48 when they took the green.
Jeff Gordon at this moment 0.4 of a second quicker than anybody else in the top 5 on that last lap. 8 laps in arrears. Joey Logano 11 down. Casey Kane 26 laps behind.
Tell you what, that 24 car, Jeff Gordon, he has taken big chunks out of that 48 car right now the last 2 laps.
But that lead is shrinking as Jeff Gordon tries to win his 4th here at Auto Club Speedway.
And look where Jeff runs. Now, Jimmy's all the way up against the wall, but Jeff, he's a car length or 2 off the wall, running a little bit shorter line up high, but not all the way to the top.
Out the caution before that.
But I like the line that Jeff Gordon's running, and I tell you why. He's trying to get the clean air on the nose of his car so he doesn't pick up the push.
If the caution falls, advantage Johnson. If we go green the rest of the way, Jeff Gordon may be in victory lane, and that's our sprint. 20 to go. There's the gap, a 1/4 of a second, first to second as traffic looms ahead.
When you switch to Sprint's new family plan, friends are like family. So who's going to be in yours?
My girl's a lady in my fantasy league. Except Jerry.
But the more people you add, the lower the rate.
Fine, Jerry.
Add up to 10 people and everyone gets unlimited talk, text, and 1 gig of data for as low as $25 a month each.
We can get one more. Add my boyfriend.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. His bill's separate, right?
All the bills are separate.
Great.
Come here. Wow. Come here.
What's going on up there?
Welcome home, Chuck. This is all for you.
Oh. Are you serious?
You couldn't even add your sprinkler system.
My wife is gonna love this.
Let me show you how it works.
DIY.
16 laps to go. 2 laps ago, Jeff Gordon was right on Jimmy Johnson's bumper, and now he's dropped to 0.8 of a second behind. That gap is not getting larger, but it's not getting smaller either.
All the great drivers I've watched or raced with, they always have a little something in the bank. Right when you think you've got them, right when you think you've got them set up and you're going to make the pass. Late in a race like this,
However, here comes your race leaders, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, separated by 1 second.
That margin is growing, Mike, that 48 car.
14 laps to go. Your 5-hour energy, big move of the race. Well, first caution when Jeff Gordon got busted for speeding coming into his pit and had to restart last. Just made him more determined. He came from 35th up to the front, has led this race 14 laps, and fought his way to second and in a position to challenge for the win. That's your 5-hour energy, big move.
Yeah, he made his way back to the top 10, and then to add to that, at lap 56, they had to miscue with the pit road entrance light. He was back outside the top 30 again.
I just wonder if something's wrong with the 24 there, because I mean, we all expected him to be able on this long run to get up there and get after him.
Steve?
Well, Alan Gustafson just said to Jeff Gordon, hang on, let's see if we can get a caution. The pit crew, they all put their helmets on as if they were going to go to work pretty quick.
Well, here's the warning. Again, he's feeling a vibration, but here's the warning. We've been 15 laps since the restart. I know we have 12 to 13 to go. I think we're getting close to that window when we could be flirting with someone else having a flat left side tire.
The second at the checkered flag in just 11 laps.
On any other track, I'd say track position is king. But this thing is so wide and so big, and you can pass a lot of cars in either corner or down the straightaway because you have plenty of room.
We saw those 2 drivers I spoke about. By the time we got to turn 2, they were about to get run over on those older tires. Only had 9 laps on the tires.
8 laps to go. Kyle Busch quickest on that. Longest green flag run today, 29 laps. We'd close to equal that with this run if we go to the checker. Seven to go.
I don't know how many thousands of people here, but everybody's holding their breath.
Left front flat.
That was Jimmy Johnson, the race leader.
Bottom, get it slow. Come to the outside.
Good grief.
That was 21 laps right there.
And hadn't had a problem all day long.
We stayed green so far.
Left front took the cowl flap out. And Johnson will have to make it to pit road, and his chance to win his first race of 2014 seems to have lost all its air. Jeff Gordon will come across as the race leader with 6 laps to go.
And in a lot of ways, I give Jeff Gordon a lot of credit. He went up there and made Jimmy Johnson run harder than he's run all day. Put a little pressure on him.
Had battled his way back up into a top 10 run, but he too having to hit pit road in the closing laps of this race.
Now, when I look at Jeff Gordon in that 24 car right now, as he's coming to 5 to go, he has a 3.5 second lead over Clint Boyer. I think the best thing they can do for him is keep him abreast of that interval.
Yeah, because Jeff Gordon already said he had a vibration. He said he had some sort of problem.
Watch the debris on the right side of the screen there from Johnson's car. Just a bit of rubber. And there goes the cowl flap.
And it went way off the racetrack, beyond the apron, it looks like.
5 laps to go. Is Jeff Gordon on borrowed time? 4th or 5th time today. And it becomes a struggle of survival to get through these final laps.
9 car down the back straightaway almost caused a big wreck. He's got a problem.
Marcus Ambrose.
We're in that window, Larry.
Oh, we're well outside that window. I think the whole question is going to be, are these guys going to get off the racetrack?
2nd place, Clint Boyer. Kyle Busch on the right side of your screen. Jeff Gordon's got to tiptoe around here. 3.5 more laps.
And he is tiptoeing. He has slowed the pace down a little bit, but he still has a 2.5 second lead coming to 3 to go.
Yeah, they're not going to catch him unless he has a problem.
Kyle and Boyer duking it out with each other.
And that's Eddie DeHaan, Jeff Gordon's
leader at the line now.
And he has slowed his pace, Darrell, 1.2 seconds. If he runs that pace, he's only going to win this by a car length.
And if he has to pick it up, he can pick it up. He has more in the bank, but there's no reason to abuse this race car right here.
Well, one thing about it, he's run up on a slow car here that's going to hinder his progress a little bit, but it's just not going to be enough time for these guys to catch up, I don't think.
The flag that he really wants to see first is that white flag, because we know we have a race then. Boyer, I believe Boyer's got a problem, it looks like.
Yep, he does. Boyer's.
Oh, round he goes. Jeff Gordon coming to 2 to go.
Caution.
Caution. We do not get to the white flag, at which the next flag would have ended the race.
We were on borrowed time. I mean, these guys left and right are having trouble. 15, 16, 18 tires problems.
Oh, that's only the ones that we actually saw. I think we've had some that on the lead lap. If I'm Jeff Gordon and Alan Gustafson, I'm going to stay out. It's a green-white checker, but I have to have enough friends to help me. That's going to be the gamble right there.
Larry, we already talked about how wide this track is, how easy it is to pass.
Larry, the whole gamble would be of those 23 drivers, if any or if how many stays out. That's going to be the big key. And then, of course, these guys, if they stay out, then you're lurking with the problem. If you possibly are on the verge of a tire problem.
And that's it, Larry. I like your logic, but Jeff Gordon's been out there for so many laps on the tires he has.
He said he had a vibration. He said he had a vibration. You got to come.
So who will get out first? Will it be Gordon? Will it be Kyle Busch, Brian Vickers, Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth, Jamie McMurray? They're all in a position to have a chance.